Great rising, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome to Community Work, where we do the work. Hope everyone is doing well. Definitely, it's been a long week. Um, we are here this evening. I'm truly excited to bring this person into the light, um, as she is creating creators. And it is important to understand that teachers are the most, or one of the most, and influential people in our children's lives. So welcome, share, please like and subscribe, as we here at Community Work want to show people how the work is being done, how you can contribute, how you can be part of the process and the solution. And we are celebrating National Black Business Month, right? And one of the first people that I wanted to bring on this month is Cheryl Irvin, right? I admire her. I think she's one of the most amazing people that I have met. And the work that she is putting in is so important, as she is changing the narrative of our future generations. Cheryl Irvin is the owner of the new Alkebulan Education Center here in Hollywood, Florida. She is loved by all the parents. She is loved by all the students. And I personally am a guardian of one of the students that go there. And I'm just excited about how they do things. They do things differently. They do things from an African-centered perspective. So our children are able to be themselves. It is one of the most amazing experiences. It's amazing to be part of it. And I'm just honored and grateful to have her in my life and to share space with her and all of the work that she is doing. So without further ado, I want to bring on Cheryl Irvin, who is the owner of the new Alkebulan Education Center here in Lauderhill, Broward County, Florida. Hey, Cheryl.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mama Mona. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's usually Mama Cheryl, right? But I was trying to be like Cheryl, right? But Mama Cheryl, how are you this evening?
Good, 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 good. I'm excellent, actually. I'm
Yeah.
excited about the new school year. I hope every educator can say I'm excited about. I hope every child can say I'm excited about the new school year, but I genuinely am. And yeah, it starts on Tuesday, August 16th here in South Florida in Broward County.
Yeah, we're all excited. I mean, and I can share. We just got off of a call for parent orientation, right? So all the parents were
Yes.
excited. Um, and I really want to kind of get into the nitty gritty, because you have a very special school. And if you could let the community know, the viewers in YouTube world, like a little bit about yourself, right? And then why did you decide to do what you are doing? You can start there.
Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is Cheryl Irvin, as Mona Lisa said. I'm a native of South Florida. I was born right here in Broward County, raised in Washington Park. Um, Moved to Miami when I was younger. So between Miami and Fort Lauderdale is where I'm from, and I love South Florida, and um, so I am an educator, and I consider myself an educator by nature, not just by training. I was one of those children who would play school. If you old enough, being in your parents' house or on the porch, and you actually like playing school. I was one of I was one of those children who liked to play school, and of course, I was always the teacher. Um, I'm an educator by nature, but I never wanted to be a teacher. I actually went to school intending to be an attorney. I
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I did a bunch of dual enrollment programs when dual enrollment was just being started in the 90s and 80s. I'm dating myself. Um,
It's all good. Wisdom, baby, wisdom.
so I went to, and when busing first started here in South Florida too. So I was bused out of Opelika and bused into Miami Lakes um, for elementary school. I was bused out of Opelika into Miami Lakes for middle school.
Okay.
Um, and then dual enrollment I did at Miami Dade. Actually graduated from college before I graduated from high school. I know that's how do you do that? Well, if your child is in a dual enrollment program, which is so um, a lot easier to do now than it was when I did it, but and New Alkebulan is going to have a dual enrollment program as well. I'll tell you about that later. But yes, um, so graduation for my AA degree was in May, and graduation for my high school diploma was in June.
Oh, nice.
So that's how I did that. And I went to college again in a dual enrollment program for my BA and my AA. And then after that, and I went to graduate school for in a dual enrollment program for my PhD and my law degree. Um, I did not complete that program, so I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a doctor, but that's okay. The point is that I'm very, very, very well versed in advanced learning from a personal standpoint and also for executing it for our children. That's why I said that. So the question was, how did I come up with the idea of the school? And this is where I'm sitting right now. So welcome to New Alkebulan. Um, when I was in undergrad, I was only 18, 19, and I don't even know if I've ever told you this story before, Mona Lisa. But when I was in like my second or third year of college, I went to college at Stanford University. And I'm at Stanford, and people are like, oh, you gifted and all these things, right? But I got a call from my mom one day, and she
Mm-hmm.
said that my cousin had been arrested and they were thinking about charging him as an adult, sending him to prison. He got caught up in that whole in the life of trying to sell drugs to get money
Correct.
at 14 or 15, something like that. And this was back in Joe Biden's 90s when they're just locking people up for that type of thing. And he did go to jail for a long period of time. But I fell apart because I was really close to him and I felt like he was gifted. This young man, when he was 6, 7, 8, we would go to our grandparents' church. My grandfather built literally, he was a brick mason, built the church we went to, right? He would sit behind the piano player and at that age, like 8, and just watch whole church session. He'd be sitting behind the piano player, watching what he's doing with his hand. And so then after the church closes, since we live in the church, our grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
are running the church, and so we have to stay behind, clean up, and all that. He sits at the piano and
Stop
picks
it.
out everything that the pianist just did in the service. He did the same thing with the drums. He
Wow.
had perfect pitch in terms of his voice. Just that to me was gifted, not taught, not that to me was gifted. And so when I here I am in California in you know college, and here he is on his way to prison. It broke me. It broke me. I'm walking across the yard on my way to my law class, and I am in tears, and I'm talking out loud, and I'm like, "That's not fair." And what happened? Da, da, da. I'm talking to myself, and I realized that as an attorney, if a child needs an attorney, because I was studying family law, if a child or a child's family, like my cousin, needs an attorney, I'm too late. How can I get there before that happens? How can I get there before I'm too late? If your child needs an attorney, it's a little bit too late. So, how can I affect the mindset of this child, their family life, in a way that won't have them be where my cousin is? So, I felt like strongly in that moment as I'm crying and I'm calling out and I'm almost praying out loud. I hear the idea of, and I said, what am I going to do? And I hear, you're going to build a school. Now,
Mm,
I'm a very
mm.
spiritual person. In that moment, I looked around, there was nobody there but me.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right. I know what you talk about. Only a few will know. Only a few will understand what you
yes,
are talking about.
yes,
My sis,
but
trust me.
yes, but I paid attention. I listened and I turned around immediately in that moment. And instead of going to my law class, I went to the registrar's office and changed my major to education. I graduated with an undergraduate degree and a bachelor's and a master's degree in education, educational leadership. It was always my intention to start a school because I feel like that's what I was told to do. I didn't know how to do it at 19 when I graduated, so I went into teaching. I had my first year of teaching in 1996 in Hollywood, Florida, and I taught in my plan was to teach in every type of school that I could find so that I could see how our children were performing in those schools firsthand so I could see what they're being given and if that was the model that was needed I would use that. So I started in public school and
You ain't got to tell me, girl. I already know because I used to teach at alternative schools. These schools is trash. Let's just
I
I
came
ain't
home, Mona, I came home every day. I lived with my mom at the time because I had just graduated college. I'm 19, 20 years old. I got my new
crying.
first job. I'm excited. I'm the young teacher, right? I came home every day crying.
Me
Like,
too.
Mama, they don't want to learn. They don't want to come to class. Oh, she threatened me today. She said she was gonna punch me in my face. I was like,
Right. Yeah.
it was rough in them public school streets. It was rough. It was rough. And my mom looked at me and she's like, sure, you can't cry every day. You're gonna have to figure something out. You have to figure it out. You cannot cry every day. So I was teaching economics at the time. I was teaching US history and economics.
Mm,
So when she said that to me, I said, you know what, she's right. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this. Right. So instead of teaching them from the book, I went back in, I made a whole project for their semester. This is how it kind of got into project based learning. I made a whole project for their semester that was economics and financial literacy. And they had a checkbook. I printed out like little money with their faces on it, all of that. I gave them jobs that they had to pull out of a hat, so they didn't get a chance to even decide what they wanted to do. They had to pull the jobs out. It was this whole project. And I told them every day I'm going to come in. So you have your job, you have your position in life, you have your salary, you have your checkbook, you have all these things about money. Every day I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna try to break your bank. I'm gonna
mm.
try to break you every day. And if you have $1 left at the end of the semester, you get an A. So I would come
Wow.
in every day, and there was a wheel, and they would spin it, and it would say stuff like, "You had a baby. Your bank account goes down this amount. Cause why is my bank account gotta go down? Cause I have a baby. Let's
Right.
talk about that, and let's
So
teach
it's
you
very
about
like
that.
applicable. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
Yes,
applying basic life skill principles. Correct.
yes.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yes,
dope.
absolutely. And then they would spin the wheel when they came in the next day. Oh, you had a flat tire on your way in, or your engine blew out.
Oh my
The bank
gosh.
account goes down, right? And then they had the option of you can marry somebody and you can combine your bank accounts, so your bank account will go up. So
Mm.
that was them partnering with someone in class. And so then now they're rushing to class because if you absent, does you don't have any PTO days. There is no paid time off. If you
Oh,
absent, your bank account goes down.
now.
So the idea I took away grades and all of that. No grades. If you have $1 left at the end of my semester, you get an A. So I had children who would skip every other class in the day, but come to my class.
Right.
And so I
No,
was like,
listen, it
okay,
sounds fun. It
it was
actually sounds like
fun.
it was fun. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun because every day it was something different. And they would come and say, my bank account low, what can I do? So I got a chance to teach them about um, alternative means of making money. I got a chance to teach them about entrepreneurship. I got a chance to teach them about, like, okay, you want to, you can do this and this. So we talked real life stuff, but in a simulated way, and they showed up. I had boys who other teachers was scared of. Skip came to my class, and they had F's, but that $1 gave them an A in my class, and it was so fulfilling. I met a young man in a store. You just out in a store like years later, like a decade later, and he came up to him. He's like, Miss Irvin, that's
Oh,
you. And I was like, and I said his name, and we hugged. I was like, how you doing? What you doing? That one class was the thing that kept me in school. Because I didn't like it. I was teaching ninth grade at a local high school. I didn't like it. I was getting ready to drop out. Your class was the thing that kept me in school. And I was just like, okay, I got to keep doing this. I got to keep doing it. So I kept developing bigger and bigger and bigger projects and better projects. And then I went to graduate school for project based learning, got a master's degree in school leadership and project based learning. Um,
you go,
I'm
sis.
just like, okay, that's something that the doing of the thing is something that our children gravitate to. It's something that they can wrap their minds around. I can get them to do the academics if I show them how it's applied. It's applied learning. If I show them this is why you have to do this kind of math. And they had ledgers. They had their own ledgers. Like, remember we used to keep ledgers with the bank,
Yes,
with your bank account, and they
yes.
had to balance it and then get the balance and go from there. So they saw why they needed to do math, and it was easy to teach them math. Um, it was easy to teach them economics. It was easy to teach them United States history. And we talked about United States history, and some people was ahead of other people, and it was chosen by chance. And so we talked about the history of that. And it was just so much easier when they were applying what
Correct.
they were learning.
Instead of
And I
like
was like,
being taught that, just constantly being taught that and
being
taught that.
taught
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
being given assignments that they don't understand why they were learning. So when I did open my first school, and again, the mentality was always to build a school because that was always the mission, right? That was given to me. So when I did open my first school, it was African centered, project based, academically accelerated, with spiritual development. There's a pyramid of 4 tiers with African Center as the foundation, project based next, academically accelerated, and that spiritual development piece is more psychology. How do I think about what I'm thinking about? What are the metacognitive skills that I need to have to manage myself in order to be able to do well? Um, so those are the pillars of our school: project based learning, African centered education, project based learning, academic acceleration, and spiritual development. I hate using the word spiritual in the context of education because people think it's religion. It is not, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about metacognitive development. Metacognitive simply means how to think about what you're thinking about, how to step outside of yourself, look at yourself, and change yourself. So the
Mm.
growth that we're talking about, the psychology that we're talking about, the behavior management that we're talking about, that's at the top of our 4 tiered structure here at the school.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So that was a long answer to a short question of how did I get started with this, but
I mean, it's all
yeah,
good. It's
that's,
all good because we want to
yeah,
be able to teach people what the work actually is, right? Like it's a process, it's a calling. In my opinion, this is your calling, right? And you're being obedient to the calling. So, when you're at that college and something says to you whatever it said to you and you literally turned around and went and changed your major to education, you were being obedient to the calling. And I think that's one of the things why, I restarted my channel because through my process of the work, right? Whew, you don't really know. It's just you just start. And as you start, like all these doors start opening and 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 all this stuff just comes to mind, and some people say God, people say universe, whatever you believe in, the most high. You just really start indulging and learning, and these opportunities open up, and you don't know how you're going to do it.
That
But what
part.
happens?
That
You
part.
don't have any freaking clue how you finna do
That
it.
part.
You feel me? And then what happens? Oh, there's a phone call, or oh, you bump into somebody, or oh, something happens, or oh, you get an email, or someone referred you to somebody, or it's something that when you have that vision and that faith, that like you about to be obedient. I
Yeah.
just tell everybody, brothers and sisters, listen, the doors open.
Yes.
The doors open. Am I lying, Mama Cheryl?
You are not lying. And I'll tell you this, like I said, I taught, but my intention was never to be a teacher. I already said that. But I am an educator by nature, right? And I was asking myself, okay, I need to open this school, but opening a school costs money. How am I
Right.
gonna do that? How am I gonna do that?
Right.
So I went to my mom actually, and I told her my vision after my son was born. Because I was teaching, then I went to New York. I lived in New York for about 5 years. I taught in New York. I taught in Brooklyn for a while. I taught in Queens for a minute too. Like I said, every school style that I could find, charter school, public school, free school, um, Montessori, project-based schools, every school style that I could find, my mission was to learn it, to teach in it, to figure out which parts of it to take and make something specifically for African children, specifically for Black children that worked, right? Because there are elements of public school that do work for our Black children, and I can answer that in a second. But in terms of get started and things start falling into place, so I go to New York. I'm there for 5 years. I'm teaching. I have my son. I come back and I tell my mother, um, still haven't figured out this school thing or how to build a school. I'm still teaching. And she's like, that's okay. That don't mean you're a teacher. You're a school builder because that's what you was told to do. Just do that until you can do something else. I'm like, how am I build a school? I don't have money. And she said that I could live with her, don't have to pay no rent. My car was paid off. Um, she helped me take care of my newborn. And she's like, okay, when you go back to teaching, all the little, it was 30 something $1,000 at the time. The money that you have in teaching, put it away. You don't have to worry about where you're going to stay, what you're going to eat.
Oh
Put it away.
wow, that's
Put it away.
amazing.
And she's like, if I got a car, you got the back seat. So she was on board for the building of this school. She saw it like I saw it and it didn't even exist yet. So I put the money away, put the money away, put the money away. My first school that I started was the result of that public school money that they were paying me to work as a teacher that I had squirreled away for those
Yeah,
couple of years of leaving
the
my mother.
sacrifice.
I didn't have any grants. I didn't have any donations. I didn't have $1 million. Honestly, I had like 2 years of work saved with like $60,000. $60,000.
Wow,
And
sis, let me tell you, you actually saved that money. You saved every
yeah,
penny. Because if
oh
you
yeah.
saying you had
So
60 G's, them schools ain't paying that much. So you done saved every penny. Sacrifice.
absolutely. Absolutely. I wasn't buying new clothes. I didn't get no hair done. I learned how to do hair. Like yeah. Yeah. And I put it away. So I had about $60,000, about that was actually like 2 or 3 years of teaching. And I started a school. I started a school with that amount of money. And when people say you need $1 million, you don't
Mm-mm.
need $1 million. I went to when I saw what Marcus Klein out of Chicago was doing on his YouTube channel. I saw videos of how his children were reading at the highest levels and doing all types of things at the highest levels. I wrote to him and I said, brother, I will come teach for you for free. Just let me shadow you. He's in Chicago. It's December. I had never been to Chicago. I had never been to Chicago.
Girl, you better
But he
get your
said,
coat.
yes. But he said, yes. I packed
Wow.
up my son, who was like 8 or 9 at the time, packed him up, and I said, give him a spot in your school so I can see how it is from and my son's assignment at 8 or 9 years old was that you're going to go into the school and you're going to do the work there, but you are going to keep this log for me of your experience of how it is from a student perspective, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. So I got that. I packed everything and I packed him up and I went to Chicago in the dead of winter and I got off the plane like, so what?
I'm telling you, Chicago in the winter? Like you bugging. Like, holy, oh
I
no.
didn't know.
Crazy.
All I knew is here's a brother, Marcus Klein, out of Chicago. His school is called Freedom Home Academy. Oh, he had a school, and I was like, "What? How is he doing it? I don't know." So I volunteered. I packed my son. I went, and we stayed there for a while. And I just shadowed him in his school and worked for free. So the little bit of money that I was squirreling away, I was using it to develop myself, not just to develop the school. But I saw somebody who didn't have no money and started a school. He started the
Right.
school in his basement, in the basement of his house. I hope I ain't telling
Well,
your
there's a way.
business,
Ain't
Marcus.
nobody could tell me nothing. Like
I
when you
hope
want
I
to
ain't,
do
I hope I
something,
ain't telling your business, Bob Marcus. But he did not have $1 million. He had a wife, he had a basement, he had a son, and he started developing curriculum for African children in his basement.
wow.
And I was like, you got a wife, you got a basement, and your son is your first student, and he set his basement up, and then he started getting other children. Basement start busting,
Busting
and then
wide open.
and then it expands out, and it was so like by the time I got there, the space that he had was a 2-story space in on the south side of Chicago, and I was just so inspired, and I was like, it let me know I didn't need $1 million. It let me
Right.
know I didn't have to wait for all type of public funding and this and that. So I kept going. I saved about 2 3 years of teaching money, open a school. We are
The
a K through 12 private school registered with the state of Florida as an official private school. We are not a homeschool. Um, this is a a public a private school with the state of Florida. You can look us up if you go to Florida directory of private schools. You'll see New Alkebulan Education Center. We have been there for about 5 years now, and
I mean, I remember early days when you first started. You know what I'm saying? I think we bumped into each other at a local store or something, and you was
yeah,
like shopping, and I'm like, oh wow, like you still going, you still pushing, you still going through whatever, no matter what happened. I know you've had millions of challenges. I know you have. You know what I'm saying? We talk. Um, and I just want to say that I'm proud of you for not giving up. I you already know how I feel about you. Like you are literally you, your school, your teachers. Shout out to all of your teachers who are committed, who go above and beyond, um, who really put in the work. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
I see it. I know it, and I just want to give a shout out to all the teachers of the New Alkebulan School here in Lauderhill, Florida. It's just an honor to be a part. It's an honor to see all the students. And one of the things that I admire about the school is that the children can be themselves, and there's an opportunity to literally dig in for their gifts and their talents, right?
Absolutely.
And there's no pressure, there's really no competition on, oh, you do da, da, da. It's really everyone's working together, right? Everyone puts in the work, the students put in the work, to keep up this. It's like one of the coolest things to watch, because when you compare, your school to a public school or an alternative school, and I've taught at alternative schools, And when you talk about you cried every day, I had my mentors, like, because I would call and cry to my mentors, and I would cry about 3 times a week. I was crying every day, but I it was reduced to about 3 times a week, and then I just couldn't do it anymore because there, in my eyes, there wasn't a solution for making it better. All of my suggestions were denied. You know, I was misused, I'll say that, right? Because what I do, I'm going to do it from the heart, but there was no support. Although I was getting the students to sit and to learn what through applicable stuff, right? I had them making waffle bowls, I had them serving each other, we were like on the board writing. And I am not a teacher by any means. I just understand how our children learn. You know what I'm saying? Very hands on. We're soulful people, soulful.
Yes,
We like to
yes,
dance. We like to do this. We like to be
absolutely,
hands on. We're visual learners. So, in
absolutely.
understanding that, I knew that there wasn't going to be any solutions. And the reason why I would cry every day was because, and it kind of hurts my heart, I knew that some of these students were on their way to juvenile and jail. It was automatic,
Yeah,
like you could just
yeah,
see it, you understood it, all of their experiences. So I just took it upon myself to be that positive light and plant a seed. But I already knew the treatment and how they were being handled and dealt with. There were no books, everything was a mess. And I taught at 2 different schools, and they were very similar. It was like these children were considered the throwaways. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And you can see the similarities. So I'm just really passionate about your school and what you are creating because I believe that is what our children need.
Yes,
So let's get into like new Alkebulan project base. Like, talk to
yes.
me about that because y'all building cars and y'all going on trips, and talk to us a little bit about, we're starting the school year next week. What are some of the projects?
What do
Like,
you say?
talk to us
Okay.
about that.
So the way that we work here at New Alkebulan is we start with project, and then we extract the academics from that project, right? So when Mona Lisa saying we the children built a car, they built um, a life size car from scratch with wood and PVC, and it was an electric car that they got in and they drove. So that project was called Got Drive, and it was an analogy again that at the top of that 4-tier pyramid is that spiritual development, that emotional development. So the project was called Got Drive, and it was about mechanical drive, but it was also about psychological drive. One of the things that people don't often look at is that in physics, everything in physics is as above, so below. In physics, everything in that is a correlate to ourselves personally. So if you're talking about inertia, which means if you stop doing something, it's really hard to get it going. So like you want to get in shape, but you haven't been exercising in years and you don't have no routine for that. It'll be harder to do that than if you are that person who just is in the habit of running every day. That's inertia. Or also if something's going, it'll keep going. So we talk about that in terms of the car driving, but we also talk about that in terms of
We're losing you, Mama Cheryl. We lost you for a second.
okay,
Okay,
here we
there
go.
you go. You're back.
So in that project, Got Drive, that project of building the car, an electric car was in the middle of that project. From that, the mathematics that you need to know to do physics, that was math. Science was physics for every child from kindergarten through 8th grade, now at their own level that they can learn it, right?
Right.
Social studies was movements throughout history, so we're still talking about movement. English and language arts, they read novels that were related to social movements. They had electives in psychology, learning the works of Amos Wilson, Wade Nobles, Naeem Akbar, in terms of how is our psychology set up to get us moving and driven, what drives you. So that was got drive. So that's, I'm telling you about that project because that's basically how we structure our semester. And there's 3 semesters in a year. I'm excited about this year. I'm excited about this year. Because the first, the sis, the first project is called Chestnut Checkers, right?
Okay.
Chestnut Checkers, and it is about survival strategies, strategic planning, um, and that project came out of the fact. So that project starts with chess in the middle, right? And it starts with them looking at the game of chess as an analogy
Okay.
for how black people, the state that black people are in. We are
Are in.
being warred against. We are being warred against, and we don't even know it. I don't say we're at war because we're not exactly fighting back. In order to be
Oh,
at war,
oh,
you have to
oh.
have two independent nations who have the the ability to war against each other, who have that ability and who have certain agreements and tenets about war. We are not at war. We are being warred against, and we're not fighting back. So we are looking at the game of chess as an analogy for where we are. In the game of chess, the white pieces always go first. Um, in the game of chess, you have the rooks, which are the institutions, like the medical institutions, the the school institution, all the
All the
institutions.
institutions.
And then inside of that, you have the bishops, which are your religious institutions, and looking at what role they play and how can each one of these things move. Because in chess, they have to move a certain way. And why is it that they get to move this way and not that way? Inside of that, you have the knights, which are your military complexes and your um, policing structures, your internal policing structures. They're the only ones in the game that get to jump over anything.
Mm, 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 mm.
Okay, and then the inside of that, you have the queen and the king, and looking at the queen and the king. The queen being the female of the family, the king being the male of the family. The most powerful piece on the board is the queen,
Yes.
right? But you only win the game when you take out the king.
Mm.
You only win the game when you take out the king.
And that's,
So we're
yeah.
looking at the game of chess as an analogy for how we are warred against. And they're going to be learning survival strategies. They're going to be learning CPR. They are going to be learning a lot of stuff that you would learn in the military in terms of dead man lists. What if something happens and I have to carry my friend out of here? How do I do that? They're going to be learning that. They're going to be learning a lot of things around medical, patching wounds. They're going to do
It's
obstacle courses.
amazing.
Um,
I want to
they
go back to
are
school.
they are going to learn gun safety, and this is every child from kindergarten through 8th grade at
Beautiful.
their level. At their level, the parents will meet us at the gun range, and we will be talking about, let's say, gun safety. Let's say gun
Yeah.
safety. But when you're talking about survival strategies, when you're talking about strategic planning, but the core of the project is, given where we are, how do we strategically plan for 10, 20 years ahead? Because in chess, you have to think 2, 3,
Right.
4 moves ahead if you're going to win. How do we do that? And what do we need to put in place in order to reposition blacks in this whole situation, in this game that we are in? So I am excited about that. It's going to be so much fun, but also so much needed and so much necessary. Um, when the shooting in Buffalo happened, and that the guy went into the grocery store and opened fire on our people on purpose, and wrote a manifesto, 100-page manifesto about it, about why he did it. And I just I cried. It broke me. I cried.
I, I,
And
I I feel, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I went
we
into
talked
a
about it.
deep, yeah, yeah. We talked. I went into a deep depression. 'Cause I just couldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, and my condolences to all the families. My condolences, everyone in Buffalo. Like it's just
absolutely.
unacceptable. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so what prompted this project was not only that, but about a week later in Texas, when the school got shot up in Texas,
Hmm.
I felt like it was almost as if the Buffalo massacre was pushed to the side and
It
all
was
of the national attention went towards this. And I'm like, but what about our people?
right.
But what about that people feel like they can just go into our churches, that they can just go into our schools, that they can just go into our neighborhoods, they can just go into our groceries and war upon us. What about that? Like we're just going within a matter of days, we're gonna act like that didn't happen. And yeah, so my response is to get our children ready. To get our children ready in this project, they are reading Francis Cress Welson's ISIS papers, looking at
Shout out to her. May she
the
rise in power.
reasons
Yeah, I love that lady.
why
Yeah.
um, they're looking that the reasons why people are looking at us as a threat. They are learning genetics. So when she talks about genetic annihilation, they can know they're learning biology and genetics, so they can know exactly what it is that she's talking about. Their science is biology and genetics and life science for the younger children. They are again reading from. They do psychology is a big part of the project. Reading Amos Wilson, and Naeem Akbar looking at the psychology of what goes into that. They're going to be reading that 100-page manifesto that the gentleman and the gentleman or
Wow.
that the
Wow.
guy
Mm.
in Buffalo wrote. They're going to be comparing that to the book, The Turner Diaries. I don't know if you are familiar with the Turner Diaries, but the
No,
Turner
I'm not.
Diaries is a book that was written decades ago that is the Bible for white supremacists. It lays out for them how it's strategy for them, and we're not even reading it. Like they have a book of strategy that they it's like the Bible for every white supremacist group from the KKK on down. They use this book as their Bible. It's called the Turner Diaries. You cannot even buy this book on Amazon. I had to go to like a thrift store shop online to get this book.
Wow.
But the
Yeah,
children will
they
be
don't.
reading
Yeah,
that. The
definitely
children will be
don't
reading
want
that
us to
book.
know the strategies. Yeah, that's
The
amazing,
children will
man.
be reading this book.
Congratulations.
So like how can you know how to address the problem if you don't even know how your enemy thinks? You want to hug it out and you want to forgive them and you want to love them, but you got to know how they think and why they think that way. And now, given that, what's the strategy? What's the next move? What's 3 moves ahead? What's 4 moves ahead? And I'm excited about that project. The second semester project is called Black Money Matters, and it's all about entrepreneurship. And the students will be starting a business. When I say starting a business, I mean for real, starting a business.
Yes.
Yes, from the kindergarten on up, everybody's gonna have a
Oh my
business.
God, that's so exciting.
Yes, it is. It's always a lot of fun. And then in the third semester in the spring, the project is called That Resonates with Me. And they're going to be learning about sound, resonance, music, and they're going to write their own album, which we'll have on YouTube and Spotify. And they go into the music studio, they record. It's a lot of fun. It's a
It's
lot of fun.
so. Oh my God, it's so exciting because I remember. Oh, I am so happy. Let me tell you, because I remember when I taught at the alternative school. I have several, like a lot of connections, and I actually took the students. So shout out to Mentor, Jensen Mentor Cox. We did like a live poetry slam, and then the winners were able to take one of their friends from the school to the studio. So they actually did, like, they did their own little thing. They was in the recording studio, a whole bunch of,
Yeah,
and it was just so much fun. And you could tell, like, when you begin to change, and apply, like have them learn in an applicable way, it just changes who they are. Like they have fun. You can see
Yeah.
the smiles, you know what I mean? They're more engaged.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be off the chain. Oh, I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait. That's gonna be
Yeah.
dope. Oh my God.
We've done that project 2 or 3 years ago, and it was amazing. And then them being in the studio for several days, like you can go to our YouTube channel. It's New Alkebulan Education on YouTube, and the pre-K children wrote. We rewrote the ABC song that's on there. The older children have some songs on there. They always absolutely love this project. We talk about hip hop. We analyze hip hop. We talk about music throughout the ages, so they learn music all the way from African music and African rhythms and what that means and what that engenders. And then we start there, and then we move across to every period in history. They're learning Black music throughout history, but not just music, but what is it tied to in the social system that would create that type of music, right? So when we get
Mm,
to their music and analyzing their music, we're not just looking at the music itself, but we're looking at historically what is it that tied to in that social system that creates that type of expression from us, because that's what it is. So semester one starting in August, chestnut checkers. Semester two, in the wintertime after the Christmas break, is Black Money Matters. And semester three in the spring is That Resonates with Me. And when I say project based learning, I am not talking about your tri board where they got the papers on it. We don't do that.
oh,
They
listen,
they
I already know. Y'all really listen.
they are
Shout out.
building real things.
Yes,
They're building substantial projects, and then they present them to the community at the end. So we always have a presentation of learning. I will extend that invitation to the community so you can come out and see all the things that they've created.
definitely. I've been to the presentations of learning, particularly fashion forward. I mean, I like I. It's so dope. It's just the creativity, how they're engaged, and I mean, not only do parents come out, but the community comes out.
Yeah.
When the community came to see the play that
Yes.
was written by the children,
Yes.
right? In honor of the Haitian Revolution. I mean,
Yeah.
that was powerful. There was at least 100 plus people in the building to watch
Yeah.
this. So not only are you creating creators, but you actually include the community. You invite people to participate. You
Absolutely.
want them to see what is going on and how the children are learning. And it's amazing because we attended the parent orientation a few hours ago, and you actually showed to all the parents the test that needs to be taken by the state, blah 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 blah. But like these students, I want to say you said something about the student was in second grade and they reading at what fifth, sixth grade level.
I could show you better than I can tell you. That's
How
something my
about you
grandfather.
just take
That's
a
something
few?
my grandfather always used to say to me.
I
I
was
can show you
blown.
better than I
Like
can tell you.
you
But
know what I mean? Because we
people
think that
always
yeah.
have the
You can definitely
question.
share the screen.
Yeah.
Do
But
your
people always
thing.
have the question when they come in and they see what we're doing and they see how active the children are and they see the children making things and stuff like that. They're like, they really wonder. And even parents, I have to tell them, trust the process. Trust the process.
Right.
They
Trust the
wonder,
process.
yes, but they're afraid a little bit because it doesn't look like public school. And they're afraid and they're like, how is that going to translate into their grades? How that's going to translate into their being able to get into college and the things that they're going to be able to do in the real world. Unfortunately, a lot of times in African centered education, parents don't feel like it's real. It's really real. Like, this is what our children need. We're calling for our community to build hospitals, build schools. We don't even have our own hospitals. We don't even have our own school. We don't even have our own banks. And I ask, at what point in your education did anybody teach you how to build something? I went
Mm-mm-mm.
to Stanford University and I did not learn how to build nothing.
We're not taught. We're taught what they want us to learn to become workers and followers. Point blank, period. No critical thinking skills, just follow, work, go get a job, and that's what it is. You are creating your team, your teachers are creating a team of creators.
Yes, that's the motto of the school: creating creators.
Oh
Is
yeah,
what
I
my
love it.
niece said.
Creating creators. When I see that, I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. That
So
shit's not real though. Creating create. And that's what you're like.
we have to. We have to
It's mind
because
blowing.
if we need all these things in our community, at what point do you learn how to make them? We
Right.
ridicule ourselves for not doing it, but how have we ever learned to do it? So we have to step back. But here's the thing, it's not even so much the physical building of the thing, it's a maker's mindset. It is
Yes.
a creator's mindset to know that you can build something and that you should build something and that you should build that thing in service of your community.
Yes.
It's not even that our children just don't know how to do it because they're not taught how to do it. That's one thing.
Right.
But they're not given a maker's mindset from early on. Like you should be able to do something. You should be able to do something with the knowledge that you're gaining in school. Okay, you're in public school, you're in charter school, you're in da, 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 da. You went to class today. What'd you learn? We always ask our children that, right? They get in the car. Oh, what you learned in school today? Da, 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 da. And they sometimes they know, sometimes they don't, but I guarantee you it's a lot of times where they don't, they even if they know what they learned, they don't know why they learned it or how to use it.
Right.
I never wanted to hear in any school that I built, this was my goal, this was my one goal in building school. I never want to hear a child ask me, why do I have to learn this? Why are we learning this? Why do we have to learn this? What's this for?
Mm-mm.
Da, 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 da. I used to, that first job I had in 96 and
Mm-hmm.
every subsequent job after that, I would hear that all the time. Why am I learning this? What
Right.
we
What's
gotta
the
learn this
point?
for? We ain't gonna even ever use this. This math that you're talking about, you ain't even gonna use this. Okay. In the morning you're gonna do these academic classes. In the afternoon you're gonna have to build something. And those academic classes that you just did, you're gonna have to know that in order to build this. That's why. And I don't even get the question. They don't even ask the question.
Right.
So that was the goal. That was the goal. Then I never hear that question. And if I hear that question, I go back to the drawing board of whatever we're doing in the space. I'm like, okay, what do we need to do to fix this?
Mama Cheryl, the students do not want to leave the school at the end of the day. It be a issue. It be an issue. I'm like, the students do not, they make it a situation. They do not want to leave. I'd be like, oh my God, this is really happening. This is for real.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I give you all the props, like
So,
your
but I did want to show
vision.
you because the parents will come in, they'll see that, they'll see this organized chaos of them making stuff, and then and they'll wonder and they'll get scared, like how they going, how's this going to translate into real life, real world, da, da, da.
Right.
So this year it was our first year of taking standardized tests because
Okay.
I didn't think that standardized tests were accurate representation of what our children could do. So I always have them doing the work, like you say in this channel. I always have them doing the work. But this year, last year, we started accepting the Step Up for Student Scholarship. So for parents who would want to bring their children to our school, we are a private school and it's tuition based, but the state of Florida issues a scholarship called the Step Up for Student Scholarship that they will pay your child's tuition to go to any private school of your choosing. So you can just apply with the state of Florida. It's like 4 different types of scholarships that you can get. They will give you that money from about $7,500 up to $10,000, depending on where your family falls at, and you can take that money and enroll your child in any private school that you
So,
want to pay for
Broward
the tuition.
County, South Florida, bring
Yeah,
your children to
anywhere
the
in the state of
new,
Florida.
yeah.
Anywhere in the state of Florida. Anywhere in the state of Florida.
But I'm talking to the South Florida parents to bring their kids to your school. That's what I'm saying. Broward County, Dade County, because they also offer transportation. I am an advocate to bringing our children to the new Alkebulan Education Center because it's just a fun way of learning. You can see it. I bear witness. I won't speak too much on my situation, but I bear witness. Like, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen the development aspect of it. I've seen the openness. I've seen the social skills. I've seen the confidence in the students. I see how they perform. They are creating their own presentations. They're writing their own plays. They're involved in the process. They are learning how to create events. Right, they're learning logistics. And these kids 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, learning about logistics, events, preparation, being on time. You feel me? Like, come on, like, I always say that we as parents sometimes minimize our children and their abilities.
Yep.
And I believe that we have been brainwashed to do that.
Yeah.
Feel me? We don't have the confidence to say they can do anything at a young age.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage all parents, find a school outside of the public school system that will really teach your children application, hands-on, critical thinking application. And I will say this: the new Alkebulan Education Center has that. That's all. I'm gonna say it again. They have
Thank
it.
you.
They have it.
Thank you. And also, again, last year, first time taking standardized tests, but because it's required by the scholarship agency. So we tested the entire school, and it just confirmed what I had already been telling the parents. It confirmed what I had already been saying um, about African centered education, that it works. It not only works to instill a sense of confidence and self knowledge in your child, that's important, but it also builds their minds. It also builds them up academically. So I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna share some of the test results with you, just to give you an idea. Just to give you an
Yes,
idea
yes, yes.
of what I'm talking about.
Let's do it.
Okay, perfect.
We have a few more minutes left. Let's get
Yeah.
this important information out. Definitely.
Okay. All right.
Brothers
Can you
and
see?
sisters, make sure
Can
you
you see the
share, like.
can you see it, Mona Lisa?
Yeah, let me bring it up to the screen. Yep, I can see it.
Okay. So I can't see you, but I can see the screen. I just want to make sure that you can see it. So this is our school, New Alkebulan STEM. It's a STEM school: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's why I had STEM right there. These are our students, and I'm just gonna pick one of our students here. This student is technically in the second grade. She's going to the third grade this year, but we put her in a higher class because she can. So those
Right.
hard and fast grade levels that you would have at a normal school, we don't necessarily have that here. So, but she took this national test for the third grade. If you can see right here, third grade, and here are her test
Mm.
scores,
Give it to him, Mama Cheryl.
right? So these are say nine. This is NPR is your national percentage reference. That is the percentage of the students that they scored better than. Right here, GE. That's grade equivalent. Grade equivalent. We're gonna focus on those two right there. Grade
Okay.
equivalent. So in
Yes,
reading,
ma'am.
this is the third grade test that she took. So in her reading, she's scoring at a fourth grade, and that point three means 3 months into the fourth grade.
Wow.
Her writing, 5 months or half the year into the sixth grade. Um, Conventions of writing, a month into the fourth grade. Vocabulary. So all of her reading is well beyond, she's like at a fifth grade level in her reading.
And hold on,
Same
Mama
thing.
Cheryl.
Uh-huh.
She when she took this test, she was in the second grade.
When she took this test, she was in the second grade, but I made her take a third grade test because we
Wow.
never put her in a second grade class here at the school for last year. She was always in a higher class. So I was like, I
Wow.
know technically the public school says you're in the second grade, but I'm gonna make you take a third grade test. So in public schools, this young lady will be is sitting in a second grade class,
That's
writing like a sixth grader.
exactly. So that's why
She's
a lot
doing
of our children get bored and like they get
yes.
antsy and fidgety, don't
And
want
this
to be
is not a
bothered.
gifted child. I'm not showing you this because it's a gifted child, but this is just one of the children that we know is like you can do this. So we push them in the directions of the things that they can do. Same thing in mathematics. Second grade, fourth grade, sixth grade, total math computation to about half a year into the fourth grade. Social studies. This is something that I told the parents. Every single child, every single one of them in social studies in their history class that they learn, every single one of them is performing above grade level. So for social studies, she's performing at almost a fifth grade level for 7 months into the fourth grade. So that was one of our second graders. One of our fourth graders, let me see, let me just keep going down. Fourth grade, this is fourth grade. And I'll show you, I'm just making it bigger so that you can see it, so you can see what I'm talking about. Grade four, he took a test for grade four,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Remember grade level equivalent, national performance reference,
Yes.
in his reading, seventh grade, performed better than 81% of all the children in the nation who took this test.
Lord,
Writing,
have mercy.
10.9, almost 11th grade, performing better than 95% of the children who took this test. Um, all the way down, mathematics, social studies, seventh grade. And again, this is one of our fourth graders. Um, I could show you every single one of these tests. We don't have the time for that, but I could show you every
That is a.
single
I
one of
mean,
them.
I think you
This
got
is
your
one of
point
our.
across.
I'll just show you 246. This is one of our sixth graders. Our sixth graders, see their grade six. So at least a year, a grade level above or more. Um, reading, writing, 7.9. Conventions right ninth grade, 6 months into the ninth grade. Um, going down to math and math computation, 8 months into the eighth grade, almost ninth grade level. Social studies, same thing. So what? One of the things, and I'm gonna stop sharing the screen right now so that you can see me. But our children don't take standardized tests. We don't teach to the test. We are doing projects. We're doing African centered learning. That's all they know. So when it came time to take this standardized test, they had never seen a bubble sheet before. We had to take a day just to train them on what a
I
bubble sheet
love
looks
it.
like and how to bubble in the thing. They thought it was the stupidest thing ever. But we had to train them on what this thing looks like and how to fill it in and why you're doing it and how to take this thing because they wouldn't know how to take it had we not trained them how to take. We don't teach to the test. We did not take the material and say, oh, this is gonna be the material on the test, so we're gonna have to teach this all year. We absolutely do not. You heard about the projects that I told you before that we're working
Correct.
on this year, that we worked on in past years. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do all day. And it translates over still into accelerated academics. It
Mm,
still translates over. We can teach our children in the way that they learn. We can teach
correct.
our children the things that they need for their community and still have it translate over into accelerated academics. That's
And
the thing.
score way above,
Way above.
way above,
Way,
way
way
above.
above.
So
Way above.
that's the key right there. For a second
We
grader to
have
be at fifth
children here
grade
who are
level,
considered autistic. Have children who are considered on the spectrum. We have children here with IEPs. They get in an African centered environment
and
and they're
it's
taught a certain way, and it makes a difference. I'm telling you, it makes a difference in who they are and how they learn and what they learn and how they manage themselves, how they manage themselves, and how they manage their behavior.
So I believe that the teachings of this school is a solution to the school to prison pipeline. Okay.
I'm gonna accept that. I'll receive that. I'll receive that. I'll receive that.
I'm just saying. I mean, that it's a solution because you are, I don't want to say you, I want to say the team, right? It's a
Absolutely.
collective effort. Um, you are, the team is contributing to every aspect of our children, mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely.
Y'all got the babies doing yoga. Y'all got the babies meditating. So now they're learning how to control their emotions. They're learning how to center themselves. You are, the New Alkebulan Education Center is a solution to the school to prison pipeline. And that's what I'm always talking about. I have never seen anything like it, at least locally. I'm not sure if there's other things around. Obviously, you did share the brother in Chicago. So
Yes.
there may be.
And shout out to the Uhuru Academy in South Carolina as well. If you're in South Carolina, look up Uhuru Academy. If you are in Atlanta, look up one of the oldest African centered schools that there is, the Akabin Institute. If you're in Chicago, Freedom Home Academy. We are out here. We are out here. We are, like Mona Lisa's channel is, we are doing the work. You may not see us, you may not know us because we're not out here rah 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 rah. We're not like that. You might know some popular people. I don't know, but the ones with the schools with the boots on the ground are just doing the work. And I would be remiss. I know we're into an hour, but I have to give you the secret sauce of why this thing works. Gotta give you the secret sauce.
Give me the secret. Give it to her. Give us the secret sauce.
The team, like you were saying, it is the team of people who are here loving on your children, working with your children. Um, and the prerequisites for them was not that, oh, you have to have your teacher certificate, or oh, you have to have gone to this school, or oh, you have to. No, they came straight out the community. They came straight out the community doing the work. Brandy Gray, oh,
Oh,
Brandy
let me
Gray, I
tell you.
take you my right hand, my three fingers on the left.
Listen, that
Bra-
Mama Brandy, man. Let me tell you
Yes,
about it. I mean, I don't even, man. These folks have y'all children braiding hair, learning how to do hair, learning how to sew, learning how to. I mean, come on now. Let's get, traditions that, our ancestors, that our elders, I'm saying, sewing by hand, like it's just a whole different ball game, man. And I'm
but this
proud.
but
And
this team was doing the work before I met them. Mama Brandy
mm,
has a nonprofit organization called Village Life. Um, and Village Life, I met her doing the work. I met her at one of her fashion shows. Very much inspired the fashion show that we had here. I
man,
met her at the history fair that she has at the Lauderhill Mall. I met her doing
the
the
work.
work, and then she came in and joined with us and started doing the work here. But she already has her own nonprofit doing the work. The history teacher, Hassan Dorsonville, you might know him as Brother Hassan. He has a large following on social media, Brother Hassan. And Brother Hassan is a lecturer. He has gone around the country to other countries lecturing on primarily Haitian history, but also the intersection between Haitian history, Pan African history, and United States history. And he was doing the work. He was a lecturer here in our school, brought in to do a special lecture, and then he came on into class doing the work. Alana, Alana DaCosta, she also has a nonprofit called Creative Uprising, where she uses art and artistic expression. That's why we can do things like go to the music studio and have a fashion show, because we have people in here straight out of the community doing the work. Before I met her, she had Creative Uprising, and it's about using art and creative expression to forward an uprising within yourself and also within the Black community. So Mama Alana is out there doing the work, and then her daughter attended the school, she saw what we were doing, and she brought her work into the space, and she's one of the instructors here. The pre-K, from the pre-K teacher, she has her own business, her own company, in arts, making um, children's books, coloring books, activity books, all types of material, all African, all African.
I love it.
So
I
the
love it.
secret sauce is the team of people who are here, who before they even got here were doing the work. Where you see, I see scrolling across your screen right here, welcome to community work, where we do the work.
And that
I
was
did
that
not,
was
I did, I did
that was
not
the whole
pull these,
reason.
I did not pull these people out of, you know, a college or this or that. Not to say that they're not super intelligent and have their degrees, because they do, but they came straight out of the community, doing the work for the community, already exhibiting their desire to help the Black community, and they brought it into here, and that it shows. It shows in everything. It shows in
In
everything
every
that we do.
facet, in everything we do.
Yeah,
Mama Cheryl, we met doing the work.
absolutely.
We met
Absolutely.
doing the
I
work in
brought
the
my
community.
children, I brought my students to one of your events, and they were vendors. Remember?
Yes, they listen. Yeah, and I remember them earrings too. I'm like, this is amazing. Like we met doing the work, and I'm just really,
They started a business,
yep.
and one of the parts of the business was, not only how do you market, but it was about expos and fairs and things like that. How do you get your work out into the community? So we were a vendor at your event. That's how we met you. The
Yep.
children were a vendor at your event, and
And
they
it was
had their
so
own their little store, and the
it was the
products that they
cutest
had
thing because
made.
yeah, they were like 5 years old, 6 years old. They were little. They were like so cute. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. What is going on? Like literally, and they telling you about their product and the earrings and how they made it at 5, 6, 7 years old. So I don't know. I'm just overwhelmed with joy because doing this work, you get very weary, very tired,
You
exhausted.
can,
Sometimes you become like you lose hope.
you
So
can.
through the journey, I just realized like we have to start from scratch and instill all these values to our children so we can see some positivity and some creators probably in the next generations to come. That's where we have to start
Absolutely,
because
absolutely.
unfortunately a lot of our adults are already stuck in their ways. The brainwash is real. So I just came to the conclusion at some point that we might as well just start with the children. So I am in complete support of your school. You already know that. I challenge everyone to support African centered schools around the country. Send them some money, be part of the solution, because at the end of the day, although there are scholarships, the community can assist to make it even bigger. So
Yes,
I'm just really excited, and I thank you because you will see the fruits of the labor. I'm talking about we already see it, but
yes,
imagine when they like get older and they're grown and we gonna see another Black Wall Street. I'm telling you, like it's gonna be awesome. Because it's the mindset. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
It's the mindset. I'm
yes,
out here doing the work where I just see where I experience adults' mindset, and no matter how much you talk to them about businesses and entrepreneurship, they're stuck on worker mode. You know,
yeah.
they don't see a way out. So I commend all of the efforts of you, your team, the school, and just the students as well. Shout out to everyone who's part of the New Alkebulan Education Center.
Yes.
School starts Tuesday, August
Tuesday,
16th.
August 16th. Tuesday, August 16th. We still have spaces for enrollment. The most spaces for enrollment are in the middle school grades, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. The lower grades are filling up. If not full, you can still try. Um, you can reach out to us at newalkebulanschool.com or newalkebulanschool@gmail.com if you want to email us. Our phone number is 954-372-5211 if you want to call us. Um, I'm pretty responsive. That is the phone number to here at the school. But most days when I leave, I'll turn it on forward, so where it'll forward directly to me, even if I'm not here.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so we're pretty responsive in that way. Um, so I gave you the phone number, the email address,
Email, the website, you
the
got it all.
newalkebulan.school.com, newalkebulan@gmail.com. You're spelling Alkebulan, Alkeb, like boy, Bulan. Alkebulan is Alkebulan. And Alkebulan is one of the oldest words that indigenous African people use to call the continent of Africa. So the word Alkebulan simply means Africa, but we wanted to use a word that had some roots to it. So we use Alkebulan, newalkebulanschool.com, newalkebulan@gmail.com, 954-372-5211. And if you want to help, if you want to donate, we have a site called $1 a day drive.com. It
Mm,
is a fundraising drive where you can donate $1 a day, just $1. And
beautiful.
yeah, $7 a week. I know my favorite drink at Starbucks costs $6.58. I know. I shouldn't indulge. I should not indulge, but it costs $6.58 for my favorite Starbucks drink. But that's $1 a day drive.com. And there are different ways to assist and help and donate on there with as little as $1.
Dollar a day. Mama Cheryl, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. Your efforts are applauded. I love you dearly.
Thank you.
And go get you some rest because I already know.
Who rest? Where rest?
No rest. All
Where
right,
where
sis.
is that?
I'll talk to
Okay.
you soon.
Thank you, sis. Thank you,
You're
sis. And thanks
welcome.
everybody.
All righty.
Good night.
Good night. Brothers and sisters, thank you so much for joining Community Work, where we do the work. Again, that was Mama Cheryl, owner of the New Alkebulan Education Center here in Lauderhill, Broward County, Florida. Please, please, please share the information, be part of the solution. I'm in full gratitude for having such influencers around me. But that happens when you actually put in the work and do the work. So with that being said, good night to everyone. And in the words of my mother, when you do it with love, it will flourish. Peace and blessings to all of you. Have a good night.